All right, so we're going to work on some transformations. First thing we're going to touch on is rotations. With rotations, you can either go clockwise or counterclockwise, and I have some handy little visuals up at the top to help you out with that. We also have our rules based on how you're moving. We move in degrees, so 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees, and 360 degrees. Based on which way you're going determines how many degrees you're moving as well. So we use these rules to explain the new point instead of trying to figure out in our mind how to move it. We use this algebraic formula for it. So if we are going 90 degrees clockwise or 270 degrees counterclockwise, we would use the first rule. If we were going 180 degrees clockwise or counterclockwise, then we would use the second rule. If we were going 270 degrees clockwise or 90 degrees counterclockwise, then we use that third rule. So notice if you're doing 90 or 270, that your your values flip, so your X and your Y flip, okay? So just keep that in mind. Now, our question says new coordinate for L, which is also called L prime, that's your new one, when rotated 90 degrees counterclockwise. So we're going to go ahead and identify where L is on our graph, and I need to write out that coordinate. So that's going to be at 2, 5. So value of 2 on the X and 5 on the Y. Now, our question asks us to do 90 degrees counterclockwise. So I'm going to find that in my rules chart, which is right here, and that tells me that I'm going to use this rule. So I'm going to take my original points and I'm going to change them based on what it says here. Now, the first thing is we need to flip our coordinates. So I'm going to do 5, 2. After I flip it, it also says that I need to make my Y value the opposite sign. So since it is originally positive, I'm going to make it negative. So our new point after rotation should be at -5, 2. So I'm going to go ahead and plot that. So -5, 5. So that's going to be -5 and 2. So if I was to rotate that, this would end up right here. Hope this helps. Now the other thing I wanted to show you is translations. Translations, you're literally following the steps. It's your GPS. It's telling you to go down 4 streets, take a right, and then go down 4 more streets. So this is like your GPS instead of directions. We're going to follow exactly what it says. So here's some things you need to know first. If it's telling you to go right or left, this is talking about your x-axis, which is always your horizontal one. If you're going left and if you're going right. Now, to talk about your y-axis, moving up or down. So on the y-axis, if you're going up, you're adding. And if you're going down, you're subtracting. So let me give you an example of how this works. Our problem says find the new coordinate for K, which is also now K prime, when translated 4 units down and 2 units left. So what we're going to do is we're going to find K on our original, and that is right there at 1, write that down, 1, 2. That's the original point, is at 1, 2. We're going to follow exactly what it says, and I'm going to translate the unit that 4 units down. So I'm literally going to draw that out. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 units down. Now I'm not done. All I'm doing is that first piece. Now I need to move on to the second piece. That second piece says, and 2 units to the left. So as you can see, I wrote left and right down because I'm not very good with my left and right. So I'm going to go 2 units to the left. Since I'm done moving, that is my final spot. That is my new spot to be at, or K prime. You can also write this algebraically. So we would just do what changes occur within the directions in math. So 4 units down, that means we subtracted, and that's on the y-axis. 2 units left is subtracting, and that's on the x-axis. So for the x value, which was 1, we subtracted 2. And on the y value, which was 2, we subtracted 4. Now, if I was to solve this, it would give us the same spot that k prime is at now. 1 minus 2 is -1, and 2 minus 4 is -2. If I check, that is exactly where I am. -1, -2. Either way you solve this, it is fine. Whichever way gets you to the new point, your k prime is perfect. I hope this helps.